So last week, I got to be in Toronto with Reverend Jonathan. Did you all enjoy Reverend Jonathan last week? Yeah, that was really awesome. I was actually in Toronto listening to Reverend Jonathan speak. So I was actually a part of you last week, just sitting there in Toronto listening. So last week, I got to talk to Toronto and literally talk about Declare. Since it was the first week of I Declare, I kind of gave them my I Declare talk last week. But I didn't want to just do the same talk this week because it's week 2. And since September was anything's possible, the point to anything being possible is that everything is possible. Therefore, anything is possible. And if anything's possible, in order for it to take form, I have to declare it, right? That's pretty simple. That's where I Declare It month came from. Well, the title of my talk today is The Art of Clarity. The Art of Clarity. How many of you feel that you have clarity? It's a very unclear group, isn't it? Okay, so here's the thing about clarity. Whether you think you have clarity or not, your subconscious mind has clarity. Because clarity is a given. The universe knows all of your beliefs that come together to form the forward trajectory of your life. So there is clarity. Even when you say, I'm unclear, the universe has got it, and here's your unclear experiences. I mean, think about it. How many of you have some unclear experiences? Just, it sort of happens, it sort of works the way you want to, but maybe not. When I was a student with Dr. David Walker, I used to go in all the time and ask for treatment work, and then I would always go in and he would say, what do you want to know? What do you want me to know for you? I said, clarity. And it was always clarity. Until finally one day he just said to me, enough with the clarity. He was like, what do you really want to know? I said, no, clarity. He goes, no, you're clear. Now what do you want to be clear about? And it was like, I could have had a V8 all those other times and figured that out. So I'm going to start with Karen's lyrics. Whatever I think I am, I am. Whatever I think I need, I need. How many of you think you need something? Yeah, so you do. You absolutely do. Okay? It all starts with me. When I wake up to that clarity, I'm free. When I wake up to the clarity that it's really up to me, all of a sudden everything's possible. I'm free. Did you all get that? When I wake up, when I am awake, and that's our year, the year of being awake, when I wake up to the fact that what I decide in here actually manifests, what I really decide, what I really declare manifests. So let me start with the word clarity. Here's the definition. The quality of being clear, and this is what I loved, in particular. In particular. The quality of being clear in particular. So it's not just general clarity, which I think everyone has, but it's a specific clarity. It's not just being generally clear, it's being specifically clear. So when you say to yourself, I am very clear that I want to be happy. Anybody else have that one? Are y'all clear you want to be happy? Anybody here want to be unhappy? Is there anybody here who is unhappy? Like you're going to raise your hand. In this room. I've had so many people say, your church is just so happy. And they say it with such an apprehensive feeling. They're like, I've gone to your church and it's very uncomfortable. Everybody's just so happy. And I always have to say, well, isn't that what you want to feel? Well, yeah, but I don't, and they're just so happy. So I'm sure if there are any of you here who are a little bit unhappy, it might feel a little uncomfortable to be around really happy people. So the question is, can you be specific on what makes you happy? In other words, what engages your happiness from within and allows you to live in happiness? Think about that. So my talk title is The Art of Clarity, and it really is an art. It's an art to live conscious, to live wide awake, and to live specifically on point, on purpose, and in particular. So, art means this. I loved this. Skill acquired by experience, study, or observation. So you have a skill. You have a skill at living your life based on all the experiences of your life, which for some people, that's not an art they really want to cultivate. If they think about all the experiences of their life and that those experiences are literally directing their mind into a specific way of living, then we really have to take a little bit of an assessment and say, am I living things that happened in the past that I don't want to live anymore. And that's being clear, getting very specific. This I'm no longer okay with. This I'm no longer happy with. And the great news is that you have the ability to absolutely do that. Georgia O'Keeffe said this: "You get whatever accomplishment you are willing to declare." You get whatever accomplishment you are willing to declare. So I'm going to ask you today some hard questions, which is, what are you declaring in your life? And the answer to that will just be for you to look at your life and see what you're declaring. Because whatever's going on in your life, you have declared at some point in your mind. So just take a look at your life for a minute and just say to yourself, what parts of my life have I declared, perhaps unconsciously, that I no longer want to live? Joel Osteen said this, and I love quoting Joel Osteen because Joel Osteen is one of the great New Thought teachers. And as I've said many times, he just loses me when he says, "Through Jesus, my personal Savior," which he waits to the last minute to say that. He does. He gives this brilliant talk, and then he says that because that's what his congregation, that's their philosophy. Not my philosophy, but that's his philosophy. But we're all saying the same thing, which is just brilliant, and you'll get that. He says, God has already done everything he is going to do. Forget the he. God has done everything it is already going to do. The ball is now in your court. Isn't that brilliant? That thing in you that does what it does. And if you're waiting for God to make your life work, have you read Waiting for Godot? God ought. God ought. Waiting for God ought. Just think about it. That's what that play was about. Waiting for something to transform your life. And if you think it's me, good choice, but only because I really do know that I am in touch with the truth. So that's good. But what you do with it is none of my business. And I have watched people take this science and do the exact opposite with it. And not make their lives better, make it worse. Because they take the responsibility part of this science and they start blaming themselves. And like, why can't I create this? Why can't I create this? Why do I keep creating this? And it's this spiral downward. But what we really teach is this. You have within you the pure potentiality of the universe that is creative at all times. And whatever you declare in mind, whatever you are clear about, that's what comes forward. That's what we teach. So if you're waiting for something out there to make you richer, happier, healthier, it's not going to happen because it happens here first. It always happens here first. The entire point of our POUNDS, our LBS, logical body science, is that the body is a perfect reflection of the mind. And if you know in mind who you are, your body must follow. There's a wonderful book I'm reading right now called Dying to Be Me. Has anybody read it? Does anybody know about this book? Take a look at it, Dying to Be Me. They gave it to me in Toronto. 3 people individually came up to me in Toronto and said, you should read this book. And 3 people, totally different people. And I was like, give me the book. I get it. When the universe bangs me in the head, I get it. So I took the book, and even though I really wanted to watch some of the movies on the plane on the way home, I picked it up, and while everybody else was watching movies, I was reading this book. And I read almost the whole book on the way home. And I won't give the book away, but it is such a brilliant example of how powerful we can be when we know who we are. When you know that you are pure love, there is nothing outside the scope of what you can declare. And that includes a full, healthy body. No matter where you are in a diagnosis, a full, healthy body. And it doesn't give anything away from the book because it's all over the internet about the book. She was moments away from death, stage 4 cancer, tumors everywhere through her body, and realized who she was and came back, and it was gone within 3 weeks. Gone. Gone. The doctors couldn't even find a lymph node to do a biopsy of. They were just blown away. Not a lymph node, a tumor. Obviously, she had her lymph nodes. And I'm reading this book on the plane, sobbing, literally sobbing. People are watching Kick-Ass and all these great movies. Because, you can see peripherally. I'm like, you know, because I can multitask as I'm reading. And but I'm sobbing and I'm reading this and I'm just like, and she got it. In that one book, it taught everything I stand up every week to talk about, which is that when you love only, when you really give yourself no other option but to love only, you become love only. And as love only, that's the creative essence of the universe, you get to speak your truth. And from there, you say, I don't need these tumors anymore. I don't need this lack in my life anymore. I don't need bad relationships in my life anymore. I don't need to live in a place I'm not happy with. I don't need to have a job that I don't like. I won't ask for hands, but if you're in a job that you don't like, get out. Get out of the job. But here's the thing about that. You can't. Not while you still believe this job has to be there for money's purposes. You can only leave it when you know who you are, and you know that the universe will always support you. So the rest of this quote is, God has already done everything he is going to do. The ball's now in your court. If you want success, prosperity, health, or happiness, you're going to have to boldly declare it from a place of faith and victory. Now, to declare means to make known, or to state clearly, to make known. So I have to ask you, what do you know? You know, there's this great quote, and I want to thank Francesca for posting my quote, which is, I know nothing. Now what can I know? We know so much that we really should know less. Do you ever feel that way? I just know way too much about this to actually know the truth about it. I know so much on the relative plane that I just can't get to the absolute love of it. And that goes for people too, in relationships. You know, that Maya Angelou quote, when someone shows you who they are, believe it the first time. It's a great quote, and I do live my life by that. But when someone shows you who they are, believe it the first time, but always leave room to know the truth of who that person is. Make your choices based on how they show up, but you still have to know who they are truthfully. You don't have to make your choices based on knowing who they are truthfully when they don't show up that way. That's logical, and that's clarity. So, what do you know? And the other one is to announce officially, meaning to finalize. Are your declarations final? When you declare, this is it, you declare it. When anything comes along for me, if anything comes, let's say a financial challenge comes along, I instantly go to my finances are secure, and I don't care what that looks like. My finances are secure, and I got to tell you, the universe hears me. It knows that I mean business. Because when something comes along that I'm not happy with, I just know the truth out of it. I could have used another word. Are your declarations that sure? Are you final in your declarations? Or do you leave room for something else? You know, Karen left a little bit of room to turn into the Buddy Holly story as she flew off, right? She left a little bit of room. Don't ever do that again. You never will. I got to tell you, when I'm on a plane and the plane has kind of stuff, I always instantly know I don't die on a plane. I don't die on a plane, but I have to tell you, I was on a plane recently. Actually, it was coming back, and it got really crazy. And all of a sudden, in my mind, I thought, what if I'm like the only survivor of a plane crash? I'm looking around the plane, I'm thinking, I don't die on a plane. Does anyone else here die on a plane? That's where my mind went. But obviously, I didn't die on a plane, so it was totally fine. Anyway. So the other one is to say something in a strong and confident way. Exactly. To say something in a strong and confident way. Do you declare in a strong and confident way? Really confident. Now, I have a question for you. What gives you your confidence? What gives you your confidence? Because if experience is giving you your confidence, I did it before, I can do it again, not bad, but that's not where confidence comes from. What gives you your confidence? And the only answer to that, the only right answer to that is, I know who I am. I know who I am. If I am the presence of the divine, how confident can I be? Very confident. That's the truth. And I don't care about all of the stuff out here, all the relative facts. It just doesn't matter. Pablo Picasso said this, when I was a child, my mother said to me, if you become a soldier, you will be a general. If you become a monk, you'll be the Pope. Instead, I became a painter and wound up as Picasso. I'm going to let that land. Every single person in this room is a Picasso, just waiting to be recognized. Bonnie Schneider is a Bonnie Schneider, and that means something. Every single person in this room, Bob Morrissey, Karen Mitchell, David Allen Cruz, all of you, Lynn Barrett, every single one of you is waiting to be realized so that you can stand up. And of course, Picasso now says, I became an artist and I became Picasso. Now we think of Picasso as the great. That means a great thing. Every single one of your names means a great thing. You just have to be willing to be it, to be the highest, the greatest version of Gary Livingood that you could possibly be. Just the name, Livingood. I remember when I first met you guys, I was like, your name is Livingood? Really? You got to live up to that. And I know you do. That's what it's all about. Are you willing to live up to your name? It takes great confidence of spirit to declare that who you are is enough. Right now, right here, it takes great confidence to declare that who I am as I am is enough. That's what we're doing in logical body science. We don't start the program with, you need to lose weight, you need to gain weight, here are things you need to do, here are your goals. It's not about that. It's, can you love yourself the way you are right now, free your mind from self-condemnation and negative beliefs so that you can now state, and here's what I'd like, from a place of creative possibility, not a place of negative self-image. And I can't tell you, we have 50 some odd people doing this program, and the emails I'm getting, people writing me saying, I haven't been able to lose weight for 10 years. I've just started dropping pounds as the weeks have gone, these 2 weeks gone by. 2 weeks. People have, they're registering 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 4 pounds. And one woman wrote me, she said, I've only lost 4 pounds in 2 weeks. And I wrote her back and I said, that would mean that after the 12 weeks, you'll have lost 25 pounds. And she was like, oh my God, my goal was 15. And she said, but 25 will work. But it all starts here. Are you willing to come from a place of knowing who you are? Henry David Thoreau said to go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. So I'm going to ask you, what life have you imagined? Are you imagining equal to who you are? Are you settling? A lot of people settle because they think this is as good as it's going to get. Or I'm settling because this is better than I even thought I could get. I'm here to tell you, you are bigger than even the biggest life you could possibly imagine. So, last week in Toronto, I did a workshop on the power of decision. How many of you were in the power of decision workshop here? It was such a beautiful day, amazing day, and it was in Toronto too. And one of the things I asked them to do in Toronto was to ask yourself a question. What can you declare with absolute certainty? Clarity, real clarity. What can you be so clear about? What can you declare right now with absolute certainty that nothing can take you off of? Now, don't tell me, just think it for yourself. Nothing can move you from this absolute certainty that I declare that this is the truth and nothing can change that. Nothing. Find that. I have a feeling Stephanie just said it's that she's in love with KJ. Is that it? Well, that's where I'm going. So when I really did the work and I had to ask myself, what do I know with absolute certainty that I can't possibly challenge? And yes, of course, Kevin came to mind right away. But what really hit me from a gut, soul level was, I love my children. Now, how many parents do we have in the room? Yeah. So you know, nothing can pull you off of that. I love my children. Now, with that certainty, with that absolute declarative certainty and clarity, can I put that into my declaration of success? Can I be that clear about health and happiness and prosperity? Can I be that clear about my creative expression? You just move the energy of the one absolute that you absolutely know, and you just move it right over here. Because if you believe it here, you can believe it here. It's that easy. It's that simple. But you've got to be clear and on point. You have to be willing to take what you know here and move it to here. That's taking charge of your mind. What happens sometimes is we let all the stuff over here, and Karen's lyric is so perfect for that. I'm afraid to speak my truth when I think circumstance is the proof. What a great lyric. I'm afraid to speak my truth when I think circumstance is the proof. You know, Raymond Charles Barker said, you cannot go beyond your own accepted self-image. You cannot go beyond your own accepted self-image. And Deepak Chopra said, when you make a choice, you change the future. So, it starts with you. It always starts with you. It always starts with me. What am I willing to know? What do I know? Getting rid of some of the things I know so that I can know from a much bigger place. To be very clear, this center is going through quite a transformation. Our board of trustees, we are getting very clear who we want to be going forward. As we sell this building and find a new space that will hold 300 people at a time at least, as we step into a new paradigm of what it means to be a spiritual center, to step away from the old paradigm of church, which makes a lot of people uncomfortable. We hear church, we think we know what that means. I don't want to know what this means. I want this to just keep evolving and growing. As I step into a brand new class with 12 new ministerial students, I want to be able to teach ministry is something new and evolving, not here's what ministry was. I want to be clear and focused, but I want to be clear and have clarity in an artistic way, which means I want to be willing to let go of everything and allow something new to come forward. And that's clarity. That is clarity, that is focus, that is intention. And the declaration must be, and nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me, and nothing can stop you. So this month, as we continue through this month, I really want you to pay attention to when you are declaring and when you're not declaring. And please also pay attention to when you're declaring things you wish you weren't declaring. And help one another in a nice way. Don't turn to your friend and go, did you hear what you just declared? Because probably they'll just slap you. But help one another. Help somebody know. My husband just recently, I said something and he went, you know, you just declared that. And I was like, I hate when you bring this back to me. And he was right. I declared something that I did not want to declare. And your mind goes, but it's what's happening. It's just great. Yes, it's what happened. It's what's happening. But do you want it to continue? Stop declaring it. You can declare the opposite, because the opposite's the truth. This is just what's happening. So this month, really pay attention. What are you declaring? What are you declaring? And then decide. Really use clarity as an art form. Am I clear that this is what I'm declaring? And am I clear that this is what I want to be declaring? You may declare things that surprise you if you really pay attention. As Karen's song says, it is all up to you. It's all up to you. So, when I got up this morning, I had a very interesting thing happen when I took my son to soccer not soccer, one of those other sports. Lacrosse, thank you. Lacrosse. Here's me at lacrosse. I'm like, what are they doing? I was like, what is with the basket? And what they're running around with baskets, throwing things. I said, I just don't get this game. So, and I asked my son if I could tell this story. I said, I want to close with this story, just to illuminate the idea of being really clear. And he said yes. So please, don't, lest you think I'm telling a story that no father should ever tell about his son. So we're sitting there watching the game, and somewhere around the middle of the game, I started to understand what they were doing. And all of a sudden, Will caught the ball. And he starts to run. And as he starts to run, everybody else on the field just stops. I mean, really stops. And they start screaming. And I turned to Kevin and I went, is he running in the wrong direction? And Kevin went, yes, he is. And I was like, this is like my worst nightmare. And it's my son, so it's even feeling worse. This is what I would expect to have done if someone threw me into a lacrosse game. So he's running in the wrong direction, and he hears them all screaming, and he hears them all screaming, "Go, go!" But they're singing, no, they're saying, "No, no!" And so he just keeps going and throws the ball, luckily misses, so he doesn't give the other team a point. And then he turns. And these people behind me were like, this one person behind me went, "Oh my God, that kid thinks he's going in the right direction. What an idiot." And first I had to grab Kevin just so that he didn't jump over the seat and kill him. I was like, "Honey." So we're feeling really bad. And I happen to notice Will when he gets back to the group. And they're all laughing and Will's laughing. So Will comes out and he's all cheerful. And they're like, "Bye, Will, good game." And they're all like, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I turned to Will and Nora and I went, "Don't even bring it up. As far as he knows, we didn't notice." Okay? So, he walks up to me and he goes, "Did you see me run the wrong way?" And Nora and I are like, and Nora, of course, instantly goes, "Yes, we did." And and here's what he said. He said, "You know, it was so awesome because everybody had a nickname. Now I have a nickname." I was like, "What is your nickname?" He goes, "Wrong way." At which point I hear somebody goes, "See you next week, Wrong way." I was like, so. Now here's the thing. Will's actually a very good sportsman. He's actually very good at lacrosse once they tell him which side is his goal. So we get in the car, and we're talking all the way home, and I'm feeling this thing in me about the whole experience. You know, I'm like, oh my God, it's like, I remember when I was playing ball, and it's all about me, and I was like, oh my God, it's all about me. I've made it all about me. I have a son who went the wrong way, and I'm feeling bad for him. I'm imposing on him what I would have felt, but he didn't feel that way. And so we talked about it, and I explained to him, I said, "Will, this is what I was feeling. It was really about me." And he goes, "I know." He said, "Dad, I'm really clear. I have no problem with this. None." He said, "I have no problem with this." And I thought about it. So last night, I asked him, I said, "I would like to tell this story. You have any problem?" He goes, "Dad, what part do you not get?" I said, "I don't care." He said, "I think it's hysterical." He said, "I love that my nickname is Wrong Way. It's really funny." He said, "And I'll probably never go the wrong way again." He said, "So isn't that a good thing?" So my son taught me a lesson in how to declare the right thing no matter how wrong it may appear. That's what we need to do. Yeah, that's for Will. That's what we need to do. That brings it all home for me. You may think you've made the biggest mistake of your life. What are you going to declare about it? What are you going to know about it? Because whatever you declare about it, whatever you know about it, you get to experience about it. So this month, know the truth. And the truth is that you are the presence of the creative intelligence manifest as you individually. You are Picasso. You are Georgia O'Keeffe. You are Jesus of Nazareth. You are the Buddha. You are every great person that ever walked this planet. You have within you that which everyone has had within them through all time and eternity to do with as you see fit. And what I know for you is right now, as you go forward, you are ready to run in any direction you decide and declare it the right direction. That's what I know. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.